was the sports anchor for Channel 5, and he and the weather pet shared the subordinate news desk away from the grim-faced anchors Charlie Baker and Tess Phillips, who reported real news. Before we'd known about my father's affair with the weather pet, I'd always wondered what they were smiling and talking about in those last few minutes of the broadcast as the credits rolled. Charlie Baker and Tess Phillips shuffled important-looking papers, worn thin from a hard day of news chasing and news delivering, but my father and the weather pet were always off to the side sharing some secret laugh that the rest of us weren't in on. And when we finally did catch on, it wasn't very funny after all. Not that I didn't like Lorna Queen. She was nice enough for someone who broke up my parents' marriage. My mother, in all fairness, always blamed my father and limited her hostility to the nickname Weather Pet, and to the occasional snide remark about my father's growing mass of hair, which at the time of the separation was receding with great speed, and now seemed to have reversed itself and grown back with the perseverance and quickness of our lawn after a few good days of rain. My mother had read all the books about divorce and tried hard to make it smooth for me and my sister, Ashley, who was Daddy's pet and left the room at even the slightest remark about his hair. My mother kept her outbursts about that to a minimum, but I could tell by the way she winced when they showed my father and Lorna together at their subordinate news desk that it still hurt. Before the divorce, my mother had been good at outbursts, and this quietness, this holding back, was more unnerving than I imagined any breakdown could be. My mother, like Ashley, has always cultivated the family dramatic streak, started by my grandmother, who at important family gatherings liked to fake horrible incidents if she felt she was not getting enough attention. No reunion, wedding, or funeral was complete without at least one stroke, heart attack, or general collapse from Grandma, at which time everyone shifted into high dramatic mode, fussing and running around, and generally creating the kind of chaos that my family is well known for. This always made me kind of nervous. I hadn't inherited that flair for the stage that Ashley and my mother had, this snap ability to lose control in appropriate instances. I was more like my father, steady and worried all the time. Back then, we had it down to a science. Mom and Ashley overreacting, thriving on crisis. My father and I standing calm, together, balancing them out. Then my father left, and like a table short a leg, things had been out of whack ever since. "So, are you going?" That was Ashley, standing in the kitchen doorway in a t-shirt and socks. Just looking at her made me acutely aware of my own height, the pointedness of my elbows and hip bones, the extra inch I'd put on in the last month. At 21, my sister is a petite 5'4", with the kind of curvy, rounded body that I wish I'd been born with. Tiny feet, perfect hair, small enough to be cute, but still a force to be reckoned with. At my age, she had already been voted most popular, dated, and dumped the captain of the football team, and been a varsity cheerleader. She was always the one at the top of the pyramid, tiny enough to be passed from hand to hand overhead until she stood high over everyone else, a bit shaky but triumphant, before letting loose and tumbling head over heels to be caught at the bottom with a sweep of someone's arms. I remembered her in her cheerleading uniform, short blue skirt, white sweater and saddle shoes, grabbing her backpack to run out to a car full of teenagers waiting outside, squealing off to school with a beep of the horn. Back then, Ashley seemed to live a life just like Barbie's, popular and perfect, always with a handsome boyfriend and the cool crowd. All she needed was the dream house and a purple plastic Corvette to make it real. Now, my sister just scowled at me when she caught me looking at her, then scratched one foot with the other. She had a good tan already, and on the inside of her left ankle I could see the yellow butterfly tattoo she'd gotten in Myrtle Beach when she'd gotten drunk after high school graduation 2 years earlier, and someone double-dared her. Ashley was wild, but that was before she got engaged. "No, I don't think I should go," my mother said. "I think it's in bad taste." "Go where?" I said. "She invited you," Ashley said, yawning. "She wouldn't have done that if she didn't want you there." "Where?" I said again. But of course no one was listening to me. There was another crash as a block of ice fell out of the freezer. "I'm not going," my mother said solidly, planting a hand on her hip. "It's tacky, and I won't do it." "So don't do it," Ashley said, coming into the kitchen and reaching across me to pick up a pack of frozen waffles from the table. "Do what?" I said again, louder this time, because in our house, you have to make a commotion to even be heard. "Go to your father's wedding," my mother said. "Lorna sent me an invitation." "She did?" "Yes." This fell into the category of whether Lorna the weather pet was either downright mean or just stupid. She did a lot of things that made me question this.